Kia ora team, Coach Ray here. I'm a triathlon and marathon running coach who specialises in coaching beginner and recreational athletes to achieve their sporting as well as their health and fitness goals. Hey, in today's short video, I've put it together for those of you running the Kaikoura Whale Run Half Marathon next weekend. What you're going to learn today is some course insights, some pacing advice, whether you're trying to go under 2 hours for the first time, or if you're a little bit faster and trying to go under an hour 30. As well as some performance tips to help you optimize your goals based on what you're wanting to achieve, regardless of what it is. Let's have a look at the course. So you start at the school, you run towards the east, towards the coast, and then through and up and around through that first aid station with some toilets, up and over the river, and then hang a left up to the dam, back down, around the golf course, heading back down the hill, all the way back to the school. The course is made up of a mixture of farm tracks, bike tracks, native bush, sealed roads, unsealed roads, not much sealed roads, plenty of variety. Stunning views of both the seaward Kaikoura ranges as well as coming back down, great view out over the peninsula. It's a fantastic course, amazing place to run. General strategy for the overall course is consistent effort. I want you to have a conservative start. If we look at I didn't really go over it, but the first half of the course is basically all uphill, then downhill for a bit, another short wee climb, and downhill. So we want that conservative start and build your pace through the event so we can take advantage of the downhill. We don't overexert ourselves on the uphill segments. That will leave you fresh-ish to finish strong. And that way you can achieve your goals and get the most out of your effort on the day. I recommend using the 1/3 pacing strategy. So this is where we break the course up into thirds, roughly 7 kilometers each. The first third at a steady pace up until the Waimangaroa River. When you cross that for the first time, that's roughly 7 Ks. Pick the effort up. You've still got a little bit of uphill to go to get up to the dam. The second or the middle 7 kilometers, you're going to run at a faster pace, and that's through and around until you get to the unpaved road past the Kura Bay golf course. And then the final 7 kilometers is going to be your fastest pace, a little bit uphill, and then it's flying downhill the rest of the way, all the way to the finish line. If you find yourself feeling nice and fresh for the final few kilometers, increase that pace a little bit more. And that's roughly as you get back onto Postman's Road towards the end of the course. Still got a little bit to go. And for those that are feeling a little bit fatigued, very tired, save it for the last K, the last half a K, push it home when you can see and hear that finish line. For those of you trying to achieve a sub 2 hour half marathon, that means you're going to need to hold an average pace across the whole half of 5:41. Start calm and steady. Let all those faster runners run away. They are faster. Don't try and keep up with them. You'll just burn through your energy and you will leave yourself tired with no energy on board later on. Focus on your cadence and your posture, especially as you start fatiguing later on in the event. You'll find that your shoulders will round over as you hunch slightly, that head will drop, you're closing off the airway. So imagine you've got a puppeteer pulling you up, nice and tall, strings are pulling you straight up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Nice pull, tall, upright posture is going to keep the airway open, meaning you can get oxygen into the lungs a lot easier, which will make your running easier as a result. Run your own race all day long. Don't get swept up with other runners trying to achieve something else. They are faster runners. Let them run faster. So the first 7 kilometers, you're aiming for a pace of 5:50 per kilometer. Through the middle third of the course, you're aiming for 5:40. And the final 7 kilometers, you're aiming for 5:30 per kilometer as you make your way through. Those wanting to go a little bit quicker, aiming for under 1:50, you need to average 5:12 per kilometer all day long. Some of it we're going to start a little bit slower on the uphill, picking up that pace on the downhill. Don't try and bank that time. Stick to the pace goals. If you're working too hard to run up that hill, you will have nothing left for the final portions of the event. Stay strong through the middle section between the aid stations and watch for your pace drifting off later on in the race. That opening 7 kilometers, aim for 5:20 per kilometre. Through the middle segment, we're increasing to 5:10 per kilometre. And then the final 7 kilometres, we want to be sub 5 minutes per K. 4:55 through to 5 minutes, and you will achieve that goal of under 150 comfortably. Those wanting to go under 140, that's an average of 4:44 per kilometre. Stay relaxed early, hold that rhythm, use other runners around you as a bit of a group for motivation and stick with them, and focus on that last 5 kilometres coming down the hill. Push that as hard as you can. In terms of pace goals, aim for 4:55 for that first 7 kilometres. The second 7 kilometres, you're aiming for 4:45, and those final 7 kilometres, aim for under 4:30 if you can, but 4:30 to 4:35 is all you need to bring you home under 140. Those that are wanting to try and do a 129 something, under that 130, you need to average 4:17 per kilometre. Now, I know it says 4:15 on the screen, but 4:17 is what it is. 4:15, you're going to have a little bit of a fudge factor. Have a controlled start, strong through the middle, and then finish strongly. Sit in early during the event and surge later on. Use those downhills to pick up some pace to claim a bit of time. If you normally train with heart rate monitor or with running power, flick me an email. Let's have a quick catch up and I'll give you some suggestions based on your capabilities of what sort of power or heart rate you need to run to maintain that pace and achieve that goal on the hilly Kaikoura whale run course. Those of you using a GPS watch, first 7 kilometres, aim for 4:25 per kilometre. The second 7 kilometres through the middle, you're aiming for 4:15 and bringing it home through the final segment, sub 4 minutes if you can, but that 4 minutes to 4:05 is going to achieve what you want. To help prepare you mentally for race day, I have my self-psych form. There's a link in the description. You can print it out or you can download it, print it out for free. I do recommend you printing it out and sitting down 2 nights before, 1 night before the race, find some quiet time, get an actual pen, write the answers on the paper. That'll help cement and solidify your race plan in your head. Also covers off a whole lot of options that could go wrong. Hopefully none of them do, but it gives you the thought process. If one of those things was to go wrong, you've already thought of the consequences and how you'll handle that, and it means you can just put that plan into place and execute it. Spending 20 to 30 minutes doing this is going to help you sleep easier than the night before. It's going to increase your chances of achieving your goals, and you're going to have a great event as a result. So click the link down below, download the self-psych form, print it off, and go for it. Mentally preparing as well, I like to use different mantras depending on the circumstances. On a tough course like the whale run, when the going gets tough, the tough get going is a simple mantra. I use it on all sorts of courses. When I find things challenging or getting tough, that's what I say to myself. If you know the rest of the lyrics, feel free to sing them as well. That one line is all I need. It helps me reframe my thought processes, bringing it round into a more positive frame, and also reminding me, hey, the sport we're doing can be challenging, but it's challenging for a reason, and we can achieve our goals still, making you move forward towards it. Also, the night before the race, 2 nights before, when you do the self-psych form, do some visualization. Visualize what the start's going to look like. Visualize the key points on the course and visualize yourself running down the hill, running through to the finish line. Mentally, break the race up into chunks. I've mentioned the 1/3 pacing strategy. That's 3 chunks of about 7 kilometers each. Doesn't mean you need to break the chunks into 7 kilometers. Some people much prefer 5 kilometer chunks and just having that little bit extra at the end. It's only a K and a bit. That's easily done. But those 4 5K chunks, they can tick them off mentally nice and easy. One thing I don't recommend you do, don't break the race into 21 different 1 kilometer chunks. There's too many of them for you to count. You lose track of where things are at. And those 1K chunks come around far too quickly. Achievable, but a little bit more sustained and easier to count. sort of at 5 to 7K range. The weather on the day, unfortunately, there is a potential for rain early as currently forecast, but it's forecast to clear and get warmer throughout the day, building up to about 16 degrees. But be prepared for any weather conditions. With the storm sweeping over the South Island at the moment, there's a good chance there's going to be a fresh drop of snow. It might be cool, but it's going to be spectacular. Be prepared for any weather conditions. Make sure you've got appropriate clothing. On the race course at the aid stations, they've got Clean Nutrition. Now, that's a brand I'm not too familiar with. I haven't tried any of their products, but the electrolytes are going to be available at the aid stations along with water. Now, there's one aid station, you travel through it twice. So on the way up the hill before you cross the river, and then as you come down the hill after you've crossed the river, you'll come back through the same aid station for a second time. If it's hot, you're going to need a little bit more fluid as you go through. If that's the case, maybe consider carrying some with you through the event. If it's cold or windy, you're still going to be sweating. It's just going to be not as obvious. Still make sure you're taking on enough fluid. On the race morning, make sure you take your running shoes, your cap or beanie, sunglasses, race number. They're going to be the key things you need to have with you. Warming up is going to depend on what you want to achieve from the event. Those of you after a fast time, a thorough warm-up is what is recommended. Those of you with more recreational goals, 10 minutes of jogging, using those first few kilometers to build into it is going to be ample for you to achieve that goal. There's always queues to the toilets first thing on race morning. Make sure you don't overhydrate. Make sure you go to the bathroom early, and that way you are going to be good to go. The start time is 9 o'clock, but make sure you're on the start line for the briefing at 8:40. Be aware that there won't be much time after the briefing for you to do your warm-up, so that needs to be done prior to the race briefing as well. As you close in on the finish line, if you're feeling fresh over the last 2 to 3 kilometers, give it everything you've got, push hard, get home comfortably, but give it everything you've got. Leave nothing out on the race course. If you're feeling fresh with those 2 to 3Ks to go, when you get to Postman's Road, start picking that pace up a little bit more and then commit everything with 1K to go. The aid stations, as I mentioned earlier, one aid station, you go through it twice, 6.5 kilometers and the 16-kilometer mark. So the first time as you head towards the Waimangaroa River the first time, and then the 16 kilometers as you're coming down the hill on the way to the finish after you've crossed the river again. If you want to smash your next half marathon, I've got a number of training plan options for you. I've got my project series. So whether you're aiming for under 2 hours, under 150, 140, 130, there's even a 145 option as well. I've got 20 and 10-week training plans depending on what your current performance level is to make sure that you can achieve those goals. Have a look at those forms. There's links in the description below, and make sure you make or have achieved the performance criteria to join those plans. That way I can guarantee your success. If you don't quite fit that box, touch base with me and we'll work about making sure that you can achieve those performance criteria to join those plans. If you're looking for a strength training plan to complement your run training, my Run Strong, Build Strength for faster, more efficient running is a fantastic training plan. On the screen, I've got the 12-week 3 gym session option, but there's options up to 24 weeks long with 3 or 2 gym sessions, depending on how much time you've got available. I've also got a 22-week training plan for the Gorge Half Marathon. That starts 15th of September. Join the Qwik Kiwi squad. Join us for a fantastic weekend in Westport and the Gorge Half Marathon, another fantastic scenic event in the South Island. And if you want something a little bit more personal, send me a DM on either Facebook or Instagram at coach_ray_nz on Instagram, or email me, coachray@coachray.nz, and we can have a chat about what's going to build your fitness the way you want to achieve your goals. And if you are part of the Whale Run crew and are watching this, I enjoyed being a sponsor of the event in the past. I know I have stepped away from a few of those things, particularly from COVID onwards, but I'm keen to get in touch and have a chat about 2026. I'll reach out to you in the coming weeks, but feel free to touch base. Looking forward to working with you again if that is an option from your end. Those of you doing the event, have an amazing race. Add in the comments below. Let me know how you got on and how successful your race was. Ka kite anō, all the best.